Most people holding XRP, XLM, and HBAR have done their research. They understand ISO 2022 settlement rails. They understand why the banking system needs faster, cheaper cross-border infrastructure. And most of them have never seriously evaluated FLR. Not because FLR is not worth evaluating, because the community conversation around ISO 2022 assets has been almost entirely about 4 assets. And FLR is not one of them. That is the gap this video is going to close, because the people who are still ignoring FLR in 2026 are going to watch a specific series of events unfold this year and next year and wish they had paid attention to the one asset in the ecosystem that solves a problem none of the others can solve alone. Let's start with the problem. Because understanding what FLR actually does requires understanding what the other ISO 2022 assets cannot do without it. XRP settles cross-border payments in 3-5 seconds at a fraction of a cent. That is a real capability that is in production with named institutional partners. XLM bridges currencies and serves financial inclusion at the human scale, also in production. HBR provides enterprise-grade compliance infrastructure and immutable audit trails for regulated financial operations, also in production. None of them can tell a smart contract what is happening in the real world. That sounds abstract, so let me make it concrete. A smart contract that automatically settles a cross-border payment when a shipment is confirmed as delivered needs to know that the shipment was actually delivered. It cannot look that up itself. It is code living on a blockchain. It has no eyes. It cannot read a FedEx tracking page. It cannot query a supply chain database. It cannot verify a customs clearance document. It needs someone to bring that information to it in a verified, tamper-proof way. That someone is an oracle, and the oracle that is specifically designed for the ISO 2022 payment ecosystem that is natively integrated with XRP Ledger through F assets that provides real-time price feeds, cross-chain state data, and Web2 API data, and that has Google Cloud as one of its 100 active validators submitting data. Every single epoch is FLR. The FLR network distinguishes itself through specialized Oracle systems that securely bring external data onto the blockchain. Consequently, developers can create more sophisticated, decentralized applications. Specialized Oracle systems, that is FLR's specific role, not a payment network, not a settlement rail, not a compliance infrastructure provider, and the data layer that makes every other ISO 2022 application capable of responding to real-world events. And here's why that role is essential rather than optional. The G20's 2027 cross-border payment targets include transparency as one of the 4 pillars alongside speed, cost, and access. Transparency means every payment needs verifiable data about what triggered it, what it represents, and what conditions were met for it to execute. That verified data cannot come from inside the blockchain. It has to come from outside it, through an oracle, through FLR. ISO 2022 messaging carries rich, structured data about every transaction. But rich, structured data about a transaction doesn't tell you whether the real-world conditions for that transaction were met, whether the commodity price at the time of settlement was what both parties agreed to, whether the interest rate index used for an automatic loan payment adjustment is accurate, whether the AI decision that triggered a regulatory compliance action is verifiable. Those questions are all answered by FLR's Oracle infrastructure, not by any other ISO 2022 asset, by FLR specifically. Now, the undervaluation evidence, because the unique role argument, is only the first layer. The second layer is the market cap math that reveals how dramatically the price fails to reflect what the network actually does. FLR at $0.0067, market cap approximately $580 million, Price predictions for 2026 range from $0.008 to 6 cents. $580 million for the data layer that powers verified real-world data delivery to the entire ISO 2022 smart contract ecosystem. Let's compare that to the Oracle infrastructure market. Chainlink, the most widely used blockchain Oracle provider. Market cap, approximately $8 billion. Chainlink provides price feeds and external data to smart contracts on Ethereum and multiple other chains. It does not have FLR's native facets integration with XRP Ledger. It does not have FLR's built-in FTSO system that is enshrined at the consensus layer rather than operating as a separate protocol. And it does not have Google Cloud as an active validator, submitting data every epoch. FLR's market cap is approximately 7% of Chainlink's market capitalization data, reveals consistent institutional interest in FLR's unique value proposition. But the market cap does not reflect that interest yet, and the gap between 7% of Chainlink's valuation and what FLR's confirmed institutional relationships, technical architecture, and 2026 event pipeline justify is the undervaluation evidence. At 25% of Chainlink's market cap, FLR would be at approximately 0.023 from 0.0067. That's a 3.4 times return. At 50% of Chainlink's market cap, FLR would be at approximately 0.046, a 6.9 times return. And Chainlink is not the ceiling for Oracle infrastructure market cap. It is the current benchmark. As the ISO 2022 compliance ecosystem grows towards the multi-trillion-dollar payment volume that the G2O roadmap describes, the Oracle infrastructure that enables it to function grows proportionally. Now, the specific 2026 events that create the regret for anyone ignoring FLR right now. Event 1. Valor's FLR ETP launched June 8, 2026. Positive social sentiment around the launch of Valor's FLR ETP, providing a narrative tailwind for institutional access, an exchange-traded product on a regulated European exchange, giving traditional investors access to FLR exposure through conventional brokerage accounts. This is the institutional access channel that HBR's Canary Capital ETF provided for that network, but for FLR, and it launched in June, while FLR was at the price it is at right now. Event 2, FLR 2.0, Confidential Compute, arriving in Q3 2026. FLR 2.0 Confidential Compute Q3 2026 enables private, institutional-grade DeFi using trusted execution environments. The most significant technical upgrade in FLR's history is arriving this quarter. Private, institutional-grade DeFi using TEE infrastructure, with Google Cloud running validator nodes. This is the upgrade that allows regulated financial institutions to participate in DeFi without exposing confidential client transaction data to every participant in the network. It's the compliance capability that separates institutional-grade blockchain infrastructure from retail DeFi. And it's arriving in the current quarter. Event 4. The EU AI Act full enforcement began this month. This governance-approved upgrade fundamentally changed FLR's economic model by cutting new token issuance and burning more fees. It directly ties the token's value to network usage. Every enterprise in Europe that uses AI for decision-making in regulated contexts needs provable audit trails from this month forward. FLR's verifiable compute infrastructure running on Google Cloud's TEE hardware is a production-ready solution for exactly this requirement. The demand is not speculative. In August 2026, it is legally mandated. Event 4. FBTC, Bitcoin integration with F-Assets. This milestone involves expanding the F-Assets protocol to include Bitcoin, creating FBTC, a fully collateralized synthetic Bitcoin on FLR. It would allow BTC to be used natively in FLR's DeFi without relying on third-party bridges. The official timeline is still to be confirmed. When FBTC launches, The total addressable market for Flare's F asset system expands from XRP's market cap to include Bitcoin's market cap. Bitcoin has approximately $1.2 trillion in market cap. Even a fraction of that moving into yield-generating FBTC positions through Flare's infrastructure would dwarf Vivo Power's $100 million institutional facets deployment. Event 5. The burn mechanics under FIP16. This combination is designed to burn roughly 300 million FLR annually from circulation. $300 million burned annually against an $87 billion circulating supply is a modest but permanently compounding supply reduction. Every year, FLR is burned and not replaced. The base on which future inflation is calculated decreases. The deflationary pressure builds slowly but does not reverse. Now the honest risk picture, because the regret framing requires honesty about what creates the regret and what prevents it. The risk for FLR in 2026 is not that the technology fails. The FTSO Oracle system works. F assets works at institutional scale. Vivo Power's $100 million deployment proved it. The risk is enterprise adoption speed. How quickly do regulated financial institutions evaluate, approve, and deploy Flare's verifiable compute infrastructure for EU AI Act compliance? That sales cycle is measured in quarters, not weeks. And Flare 2.0 landing in Q3 does not mean enterprise deployments begin. In Q4, they begin after evaluation periods that run into 2027. The people who will regret ignoring FLR in 2026 are not the people who buy today and expect the price to triple by December. They are the people who are not positioned when the FBTC announcement drops, or when the first named enterprise publicly documents using Flare's verifiable compute for EU AI Act compliance, or when Flare 2.0 confidential compute attracts the first institutional DeFi deployment that generates enough FLR gas demand to be visible in the network's quarterly data. Those events are coming. Their timing is uncertain. Their impact, when they arrive, is not because Flare is the data layer that none of the other ISO 2022 assets can substitute. And when the market realizes that the data layer of the world's most important payment infrastructure is trading at 7% of Chainlink's market cap, with Google Cloud validating it, Vivo Power having deployed institutional capital through it, and 300 million tokens burning out of existence annually, the people who ignored FLR in 2026 will understand why it was the one coin they should not have. In essence, 2026 is likely to be a rebuilding year for Flare, where price action gradually shifts from accumulation into a structured uptrend rather than delivering an immediate breakout, with upside potential developing steadily as market conditions improve. Accumulation into structured uptrend. That is the honest description. Not a moonshot this quarter. A structural transition from the distribution phase into the production phase. From building the data layer to having the data layer used at institutional scale. You either accumulate during the transition or you buy after it. Those are the two positions available. The people who accumulate during the transition are the ones who will not regret 2026. This video is for educational and informational purposes only. Nothing here constitutes financial, legal, or investment advice. Always do your own research and consult qualified professionals before making any financial decisions. If this video gave you the complete picture of why FLR specifically is the ISO 2022 asset most likely to be regretted by people who ignore it in 2026, hit the like button right now. That signal pushes this to ISO 2022 holders who understand XRP, XLM, and HBAR without having seriously evaluated the data layer that makes all three of them capable of responding to the real world. Subscribe. Because when Flare 2.0 puts confidential compute launches on mainnet this quarter, and the FBTC Bitcoin integration timeline is formally announced. This channel will break down exactly what each event means for FLR's undervaluation case against Chainlink's market cap benchmark. And drop a comment with this: did you hold FLR before watching this video, or are you evaluating it for the first time? And which specific 2026 event is most important to your decision? That answer tells me exactly where the community's awareness of FLR's unique data layer role actually is right now. Share this with whoever in your circle holds XRP, XLM, or HBR without having a position in the data layer that makes all three of them capable of responding to the real world. The data layer is FLR, and 2026 is the year the market figures that out. Have a great day. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe to the channel, and be sure to join my free Telegram community with the link on my channel where I post my daily crypto experience and arbitrage opportunities you can't get anywhere else. This is XRP Hobart signing off.